The unprovoked strike commander Elena Vasquez floated through the observation deck of Sentinel-7, humanity's furthest monitoring station at the edge of colonized space. The year was 2428, and humans had spread across 15 star systems, building peaceful settlements on worlds that had never known intelligent life. Elena had served at this remote outpost for 3 years, watching empty space and recording cosmic phenomena that most people would find boring. Her crew of 60 dedicated scientists and engineers maintained their vigil at the frontier, believing that one day their patience would be rewarded with something extraordinary. The station's long-range sensors suddenly erupted with activity, displaying energy signatures unlike anything in their database. Elena pushed herself toward the main console, where Lieutenant Marcus Chan was frantically analyzing the incoming data. His usually calm demeanor had been replaced with barely contained excitement mixed with concern. The readings showed 17 massive objects moving through space at velocities that should have been impossible according to known physics. These weren't asteroids or natural phenomena, but clearly artificial constructs with purposeful trajectories aimed directly at human space. Marcus turned to Elena with wide eyes that reflected both wonder and fear. "Commander, these objects are decelerating from faster than light speeds. They'll reach our position in approximately 4 hours. The energy signatures suggest advanced technology far beyond our current capabilities. This is it, ma'am. First contact with an alien civilization." Elena felt her heart rate spike as she processed the implications. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe, and now they had their answer. She immediately ordered all personnel to their stations and began transmitting emergency alerts to Earth Command. The hours passed with agonizing slowness as the alien vessels approached. When they finally dropped out of hyperspace, Elena and her crew gasped at the sight before them. The ships were magnificent constructs of living metal that seemed to pulse with internal energy. Each vessel measured over 2 kilometers in length, dwarfing any human ship ever built. They arranged themselves in a perfect formation that spoke of military precision and absolute confidence in their superiority. The lead ship suddenly projected a holographic image directly onto Sentinel-7's bridge, revealing the aliens for the first time. The being that appeared before them stood 3 meters, tall with crystalline skin that refracted light into prismatic patterns. It had 4 arms that moved with fluid grace and eyes that burned with an inner fire of unmistakable intelligence and barely contained contempt. When it spoke, the universal translator struggled to convey the cold arrogance in its tone. "Inferior beings of Earth, I am Supreme Commander Zethkar of the Zephyrian Empire. Your species has spread through space that rightfully belongs to us. You have 48 hours to begin evacuating all colonies and return to your birth world. Refuse, and we will demonstrate why the Zephyrians are feared across 3 galaxies." Elena stepped forward, trying to project confidence she didn't feel. "Supreme Commander, I am Commander Elena Vasquez, representing Earth and all human colonies. We've established ourselves on uninhabited worlds, following all protocols of peaceful expansion. Surely we can negotiate a solution that doesn't require abandoning homes that thousands of families have built over generations. We seek only peace and would welcome the opportunity to coexist with your empire." Her words were met with what could only be described as dismissive laughter from the alien commander. Zethkar's 4 arms gestured in what seemed to be amusement. "You speak of negotiation as if you have something to offer. The Zephyrian Empire has conquered 800 species across the cosmos. Your technology is primitive, your military forces are laughable, and your very existence in space is an insult to superior beings. We do not negotiate with insects. You have been given our terms. Comply or face extinction." The hologram vanished, leaving the human crew in stunned silence. Elena knew that Earth's leaders would never accept such demands, but she also understood that humanity's combined military might couldn't stand against even one of these massive alien vessels. The 48 hours passed in frantic diplomatic attempts and military preparations. President James Harrison convened emergency sessions with world leaders, trying to find any solution that wouldn't lead to war. Ambassador Sarah Mitchell transmitted countless messages to the Zephyrian fleet, offering trade agreements, technology exchanges, and even partial withdrawal from certain systems. Every attempt at communication was met with silence. The aliens had made their position clear and saw no need for further discussion with a species they considered beneath them. As the deadline approached, President Harrison made the announcement that would define humanity's future. Standing before the Global Council, he declared that Earth would not abandon its colonies or submit to alien tyranny. Throughout our history, humanity has faced impossible odds and emerged victorious through determination and innovation. We will not bow to threats, no matter how powerful our enemies appear. If the Zephyrians want war, they will learn why humans have survived every challenge the universe has thrown at us. His words sparked a mixture of pride and terror across human space as people prepared for the coming storm. When the deadline expired, the Zephyrian response was swift and merciless. 10 antimatter missiles launched from their flagship, each one capable of obliterating an entire continent. The weapons traveled at near light speed, giving Earth's defense systems mere minutes to respond. Orbital platforms fired interceptor missiles while ground-based lasers attempted to destroy the incoming projectiles, but the alien weapons were protected by energy shields that human technology couldn't penetrate. Elena watched helplessly from Sentinel-7 as the missiles streaked toward Earth. Like harbingers of doom, the first missile struck Beijing, creating a crater 50 kilometers wide and sending shockwaves that leveled everything within 200 kilometers. Moscow vanished next in a blinding flash that could be seen from orbit. New York, London, Tokyo, Mumbai, Cairo, Rio de Janeiro, Lagos, and Sydney all disappeared within seconds of each other. The death toll was incomprehensible, as 3 billion humans died in less than a minute. The electromagnetic pulses from the explosions crippled infrastructure across the planet, plunging survivors into darkness and chaos. Earth's beautiful blue marble appearance was now scarred with massive wounds that glowed with radioactive fire. But something unexpected happened. In the moments after the attack, deep beneath mountain ranges and ocean floors around the world, massive doors began to open. Facilities that had been hidden for decades revealed themselves as humanity's true military infrastructure came online. These weren't simple bunkers, but advanced command centers that had been preparing for this exact scenario since humanity first ventured into space. The governments of Earth had learned from history that showing strength invited challenge, so they had hidden their true capabilities behind a facade of weakness. Admiral Rebecca Stone emerged from her bunker beneath the Atlantic Ocean to take command of humanity's real space fleet. For 20 years, she had overseen the construction of warships that officially didn't exist, built with technology reverse-engineered from ancient artifacts found on Mars. The ships had been disguised as asteroids or hidden in the shadows of moons, waiting for the day when humanity would need to reveal its true power. All Ghost Fleet units, this is Admiral Stone. Authorization code Phoenix Rising. The masquerade is over. Time to show these bastards what humans are really capable of. Across the solar system, hundreds of hidden warships powered up their exotic matter drives and engaged cloaking systems that bent space-time around their hulls. These vessels incorporated technologies that humanity had developed in absolute secrecy, including weapons that could manipulate fundamental forces and shields that existed partially in alternate dimensions. The Zephyrians had expected to find a broken civilization begging for mercy. Instead, They had awakened something far more dangerous than they could have imagined. Captain David Kim commanded the first Ghost Fleet ship to engage the enemy. His vessel, the Shadow Strike, materialized behind a Zephyrian patrol ship near Mars and fired a single graviton torpedo. The weapon created a localized black hole that compressed the alien vessel into a sphere the size of a basketball before evaporating in a burst of Hawking radiation. The entire engagement lasted less than 3 seconds, and the Zephyrian ship never had a chance to send a distress signal. Within hours, similar attacks occurred throughout the solar system as humanity began its systematic campaign of vengeance. The Zephyrians initially dismissed the loss of patrol ships as equipment failures or navigation errors. Their arrogance prevented them from believing that primitive humans could pose any threat to their superior technology. This blindness gave humanity precious time to position their forces and gather intelligence about alien capabilities. Every destroyed Zephyrian vessel provided valuable data about their shield frequencies, weapon systems, and communication protocols. Human scientists worked around the clock to develop countermeasures and exploit weaknesses in alien technology. Asterisk. The reckoning Dr. Michael Foster analyzed fragments of destroyed Zephyrian ships in his laboratory, hidden beneath the ruins of London. The alien technology was indeed advanced, but it followed predictable patterns that human quantum computers could decode. He discovered that Zephyrian shields operated on harmonic frequencies that could be disrupted by precisely tuned sonic weapons. Their living metal hulls were vulnerable to specific electromagnetic pulses that could cause the material to lose cohesion. Most importantly, their faster-than-light communication relied on quantum entanglement that humans could intercept and decode. This intelligence transformed humanity's approach to the war. Instead of trying to match Zephyrian firepower directly, human forces would use guerrilla tactics and precision strikes that exploited enemy weaknesses. Ghost Fleet ships would appear from nowhere, deliver devastating attacks, and vanish before the aliens could respond. The psychological impact of these raids was almost as important as the physical damage they caused. Zephyrian soldiers who had conquered hundreds of species without significant resistance now found themselves afraid of shadows. Major Catherine Ross led the most audacious operation of the early war. Her team of enhanced Special Forces soldiers infiltrated a Zephyrian supply depot on Europa using stealth suits that made them invisible to alien sensors. The mission wasn't just to destroy supplies, but to plant a virus in the enemy's computer systems. The virus, designed by Earth's best programmers, would slowly corrupt Zephyrian navigation data, causing their ships to arrive at wrong coordinates or collide with celestial bodies. By the time the aliens discovered the sabotage, dozens of their vessels had been lost to navigation errors. The Zephyrian Empire had never faced an enemy that fought with such cunning and determination. Their previous conquests had been straightforward affairs where superior firepower guaranteed victory. Humans fought differently, using deception, misdirection, and psychological warfare to multiply the effectiveness of their smaller forces. When Zephyrian commanders gathered for strategy meetings, they found themselves arguing about how to counter an enemy that seemed to be everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. 6 months after the initial attack on Earth, humanity launched Operation Retribution, their first major offensive against Zephyrian holdings. The target was Proxima Station, a massive supply hub that supported alien operations in 3-star systems. Admiral Stone personally led a fleet of 50 Ghost Fleet warships in the assault. The battle began with humanity's newest weapon, a dimensional displacement bomb that shifted part of the station into an alternate reality where different physical laws applied. The affected sections simply ceased to exist in normal space, creating massive breaches in the station's defenses. The Battle of Proxima Station lasted 18 hours and demonstrated humanity's evolution as a military power. Human ships coordinated, their attacks with perfect precision, using quantum communication systems that couldn't be jammed or intercepted. Their weapons adapted in real time to counter Zephyrian defenses, while their shields learned from each hit to become increasingly resistant to enemy fire. When the battle ended, Proxima Station was a cloud of debris and the myth of Zephyrian invincibility had been shattered forever. News of humanity's victories spread across the galaxy through channels the Zephyrians couldn't control. Species that had lived under the Empire's oppression for centuries began to see possibility where there had only been despair. Resistance movements that had been dormant for generations suddenly found new purpose and inspiration. The Kalari, a species enslaved for 300 years, launched their first rebellion in living memory. The Nexari, who had been forced to provide resources to the Empire, began sabotaging shipments and attacking Zephyrian overseers. Supreme Commander Zethkar watched his empire crumble with disbelief that bordered on madness. The insects he had dismissed as unworthy of consideration were systematically destroying everything the Zephyrians had built over millennia. His subordinates reported defeats on every front, as human forces struck with surgical precision at vital targets. Supply lines collapsed, communication networks failed, and entire fleets disappeared without explanation. The Supreme Commander, who had never known defeat, now faced the possibility that his species might not survive this war they had started. Humanity's psychological warfare campaign reached its peak when they broadcast recordings of Zephyrian defeats across the galaxy. The images showed mighty alien warships being torn apart by human weapons, and Zephyrian soldiers surrendering to forces they had considered inferior. The broadcasts were accompanied by a simple message in every known language: Earth remembers. Earth does not forgive. Earth is coming. The psychological impact on Zephyrian morale was devastating, as soldiers who had been raised to believe in their inherent superiority faced the reality of their vulnerability. 1 year after the missiles struck Earth, human forces reached the Zephyrian home system. The assembled fleet represented humanity's complete military might, including 300 warships and support vessels crewed by soldiers who had lost family in the initial attack. Admiral Stone stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship, Vengeance, looking at the world that had spawned their tormentors. The planet was beautiful, with crystal cities that reflected rainbow light and floating gardens that defied gravity. It would have been easy to destroy it all with the same callousness the Zephyrians had shown Earth. But humanity chose a different path. President Harrison addressed the Zephyrian High Council from Earth, his words carried across space by quantum transmitters. You attacked our world without provocation and murdered 3 billion innocent people. Every human instinct demands that we respond in kind, that we turn your worlds to ash and scatter your people to the cosmic winds. But we are not you. We will not become the monsters you tried to make us. Your military is destroyed. Your empire is dissolved, and your species will be confined to your home system for 1,000 years. This is Earth's judgment. This is Earth's mercy. The terms of surrender were harsh but not genocidal. The Zephyrian Empire would be completely dismantled, with all conquered species granted immediate independence. Their technology would be shared among their former victims as reparation for centuries of oppression. Human observers would be stationed throughout Zephyrian space to ensure compliance with the terms. Most importantly, the story of their defeat would be recorded in every historical archive in the galaxy as a warning to any species that might consider attacking Earth in the future. The reconstruction of Earth began immediately, using Zephyrian technology to heal the wounds left by their antimatter missiles. Cities rose from the ruins, more beautiful and advanced than before. Memorial parks were built at each impact site, featuring monuments that listed every victim's name and told their story. These sites became places of pilgrimage, where humans came to remember the cost of survival and the price of vengeance. Children grew up hearing stories of the war, learning that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their hidden weapons or secret fleets, but their refusal to surrender when faced with extinction. The galaxy had learned a fundamental truth about humanity. They were a species that preferred peace and would go to extraordinary lengths to avoid conflict. They would hide their true strength and accept insults rather than resort to violence. But when pushed too far, when innocent lives were taken and their very existence threatened, humans became something terrifying. They became a force that could bring down empires and reshape the galaxy itself. The Zephyrians had fired 10 missiles at Earth, expecting to break humanity's spirit. Instead, they had unleashed humanity's retribution and ensured that no species would ever make that mistake. Again, asterisk.